Why are they making comb on top of the frame?
Yeah, that's a good thing they do that. It sticks the lid down so it doesn't blow off, like the one we had earlier today.
Yeah. I always put a rock on top of it.
Rock, brick on top is a good idea.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but they want to fill up the extra space.
Yeah.
Is what they want to do. So if they have extra space anywhere in the hive,
yeah.
like eventually if they filled up all of these frames,
yeah.
they'd start putting comb down inside that feeder because that's extra space that they can use. So they just, and they like to glue everything down. You'll notice on the side here, they stick propose, stick it out. See, let that be right there.
Yeah.
It's gluing that frame here down to the hive rest right there. See where they did it right there? They do that so it just secures the comb in the frame.
Yeah.
So if it got really hot, sometimes that comb would sag.
Oh.
Let's say they were in a tree and the limb liked to move a little bit. They got a big windstorm, and that comb might move around if it was really hot. So they just like to, it's like nailing their house down.
Yeah.
You got the house on a foundation.
Yeah.
They just stick everything tight to whatever it's in, so it doesn't go anywhere. Now, if my smoker didn't go out, okay, still going. All right, we'll give them just a little more smoke.
Oh, look at them.
And move them out of the way. Okay, that's about all we need to do. All right, now I think I'll start with I'll take this feeder out first. That's going to be the easiest thing to take out. So speaking of that comb, that bridge comb that they build, if I pull a frame out that has a lot of that bridge comb on it, it's in the way and I'll smash some bees sometimes.
Yeah.
So if this is usually the easiest to take out without smashing any bees.
Do I need to have a feeder?
No, you don't have to, not of this type. I mean, you may need a feeder. Yes, you'll need one eventually, but not for that reason. I mean, but I'm just saying this is the easiest way to start taking frames out is to remove the easiest component inside the hive, and that happens to be this right now. So, all right, we'll put that aside here. Now I've got some space. So, Spencer, if you take the hive tool and just kind of pry that frame out and move it over a little bit. Yep.
Probably too much there.
Yep. So if you're a little bit more gentle than that, then it won't make the bees mad. That didn't hurt anything.
I taught everybody a lesson real quick.
But it might irritate the bees. All right. So perfect. So now I've got that frame out here, so when I pull it up, I won't smash bees on the way out, right? Because sometimes they'll build that comb out a little bit further, and then as you pull it up, you don't want to roll the queen, is what the industry kind of says. So if you drag that across some comb there, it'll smash some bees, and we hopefully don't want that to be the queen bee.
Right.
So the queen bee will most likely be in the middle of the hive, and they'll have honey on the outsides. So that's why we'll start with one of these frames out here, because usually it's going to be mostly honey. So, all right, so speaking of honey, you can see capped over cells of honey right there, and you can see
so they filled the cell and then they put a little lid on top.
Yep, that's right.
That's the white on the top there?
Yep, so this is, and you can see some of them in the progress. So that's not quite all the way capped over. That one, there's a few of them there. They're just working on capping over. And all these are still open, and then you can see foundation here. So we've got three things that are visible in this one.
Yeah.
Foundation, that's plastic, and it has that hexagon embossed on it, and that's their foundation. And then they build out the cell wall, the hexagon-shaped cell, and then when it's full, they've built it out as far as they can without interfering with the next frame over, the next piece of comb over, and still maintaining a bee space in between. Then they'll cap it over. So they'll cap over honey, which is what this is. Yeah. And they'll also cap over brood.
Okay, I was wondering about
which is the baby bees.
Right, baby bees. So for convenience for the beekeeper, Mr. Langsford said, okay, let's build a frame, keep the bees contained inside the frame, makes it easy for us to manage them. So there's a space, so the end bars on these frames, that's a spacer. So this space here, the bees can crawl around from frame to frame, and then this one is designed so that they're touching together. You can see most of them, these aren't, because I've got that in the middle, right? But they should be close together. Right, so that gives the proper amount of space in between the frames, in between the comb. So if you did something like this, let's say I left that queen cage in there and they had this much space in between those frames, they might build another piece of row comb in between the frames there. Then you got a mess. So you have to cut that out eventually. You may not have to cut it out, you might just leave it, but it interferes with the beekeepers' manipulations that they have to do in order to sort things out when it's time to take honey out, or inspect a brood chamber,
Right,
or
yeah.
requeen, whatever you're going to do in there. You want it nice and tidy and straight line. You'll notice they've got bee space in between the end of the end bar of the frame and the end of the box, so the bees can crawl around there. So if I take that frame out carefully and I lift it straight up, I won't smash any bees that get in between, that are in that bee space. So you want to try it, Spencer? Lift that one out of there, nice and slow and careful and straight up. Yep.
Oh, there's lots of bees on that one.
Yeah.
Beauty.
Okay. So now we've got in here capped over honey, and we've got capped over brood. This one has brood in it. So the queen's
Okay.
been
That's what
here.
can you kind of
Yep.
tilt it this way?
Certainly.
How do you know?
Yeah, how do you know the difference?
Is it the dark brown color?
One we can tell by the place it is in the frame, not
Right.
always, but yeah, the brood is a little bit darker.
Uh-huh.
So the reason it's darker is because it's mixed with some other stuff. Maybe
Okay.
pollen, maybe old recycled
That's so
cocoons.
interesting. That's so easier. That's much easier than I was making it out to be.
It's darker because it needs to be a little bit porous, so the pupa underneath there can breathe.
Yeah.
Okay,
And so this over here on the corner, that's just capped honey. Like that
Yep.
one's just all white.
Right.
Capped honey.
That's
Dark.
just wax.
Okay, so why
Okay.
are the broods sometimes capped and sometimes not? Or do
Yeah.
they always need to be capped?
Okay, good question. Yeah. When we talk about brood, when we talk about baby bees,
Yes.
we're talking about the different stages in the lifestyle of a developing bee.
Yes.
So first it's a larva.
An
stage,
egg.
And first, so okay. I don't know if they want. I don't know if technically they include eggs as brood.
Because
Okay.
the eggs are on
All
the
right.
bee, on the queen.
The queen lays the egg right in the cell.
Okay.
Right. So we've got eggs for 3 days.
Yep.
Then we've got a larva stage that's being fed.
Oh,
Once that egg hatches, then the bees got to start feeding.
oh honey.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
pollen.
Honey mixed with pollen.
Okay.
So they've got both. They got carbohydrates and they got protein. The pollen's the protein, and so they're mixing it. The baby formula. It's baby formula. Yeah.
I did not know any of this. This
Yeah.
is
And
awesome.
They mix
Okay,
it
good.
with stuff
Right.
from their glands.
Right. So the bees the nurse bees in the hive, it's their job to feed the larva, and they'll secrete certain enzymes, and they mix up the formula from the ingredients, pollen and honey.
Yep.
And then when it's well fed, it goes into that stage of pre-pupa, and that's when they put a cap over it.
Oh, okay.
So it's just in there, it's done feeding, it's just developing. It's got all the nutrition it needs. It just needs to sit there for another 8 days and develop.
Okay.
So it's
So
underneath
sometimes you can see the little
Yeah.
brood,
Right.
the little larva.
larva stage. Yep.
And then sometimes
Uh-huh.
when it's capped,
Yep.
then it's a little further along in the development.
Yep.
And you don't get to see that part.
You don't see it. It's
How would
underneath the
you-
cap. Yep. So those caps right there.
Yep.
Underneath that is
Yep.
the pupa stage.
Yep.
And you can probably look in there and you can see
So
some
before it's capped, that's the
Larva.
stage. Yep. So
And
you
I was
see-
looking for larva, but
But
I didn't see
Are you
any.
getting tired of
Okay.
holding
They're just
that
tiny,
way?
tiny white things.
It's
basically.
little
Yeah.
tiny white. Do you see any?
I don't.
They look like
There'll be some in there if they're not on that frame.
They'll be on the
we'll find
others.
some. Yep.
But they've got honey, and they use this honey to feed that until
Yep.
they cap it. Okay.
Yes, and so
Okay.
you'll see
That's like a little
typically on,
factory.
on a frame of brood, you'll see where they put pollen, a ring of pollen right around the brood, so it's close by, so they don't have to go to the
Oh.
other side of the hive to the pantry to get the ingredients they need to mix up
Pantry.
the baby formula to feed the bees. Yeah, so she's in there somewhere. Yep. Now, hopefully, she's been accepted. We can tell if she was accepted by the ones that I combined them into by eggs. It's been enough time that we should be able to see eggs. If we see eggs, we know she's okay. And if we don't see eggs, now we're all gonna hunt for the queen to make sure that she's all right. So,
Cool.
yeah. So they're stuck together like Velcro. Look at that. I bet the queen's in the middle of that. Maybe.
Sorry, you said they're trying to kill her or protect her?
They're trying to kill her.
Oh.
Well,
They don't like
they usually
it.
don't kill her when they ball her, but they'll chew on her legs. Well, maybe not. See how they're acting different here, though? So this would make sense. If we're in here and that queen ran and hides, she got as far as she can over to this box,
What if we smoke them
to the
right there?
end of the box. Yeah, smoke might help. That'll break it up.
But like they're trying to go back into that pile a little bit, seems like.
Yeah.
You can pour water on them. If you got some water. I don't see her. There's something unusual going on, though.
Oh, yeah.
You see her anywhere in there?
Oh, yeah, right there, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she's under there. Yep.
Where?
She's
There's a
under
little
there.
red dot
Yeah,
moving.
yeah.
What?
You see that? So now they're chasing around and balling her. And she's not laying eggs yet either. So,
She's full.
yeah, let's see. Where is she? See
Right
that
there.
bee's aggressive right there? All right, we're going to rescue this queen bee.
Wow.
Hand me that cage back that I threw on the ground over there. So we got in here a little bit too soon. I probably let her out of the cage. I probably should have put the cork in there. And
How are her legs? Are they still intact?
let's have a look at her. Does she look okay? She got all her legs. No, she missing part of. Yeah, she looks all right. The way she was moving around, she looks okay. All right.
How are you holding her?
I got
On
her by the
wings?
wings. Yep. If you catch both wings, then she can't spin like that. So now here's how you put her back in the cage. I want to put her head in first, and then if I put my thumb behind that, she can't back out away from me, so she'll go into the cage.
You guys, most beekeepers can't do that. You got to see something cool.
All right.
Now what? Now
Yeah.
there's no cork.
Now I need a cork to do that. So maybe one of those wood chips will work. Yeah, that might do it. Okay, perfect. Perfect. That was it.
Got it? Okay.
Yep, there's a cork. All right, so we got a little wood chip in there. Now she's safe. So now I got to decide what I'm going to do with those the other emergency queen cells.
Yeah.
We know the queen's in here and she looks good. They haven't hurt her. So they probably didn't start balling that queen until we got in the hive and
Kind of
started
our
messing around.
fault, yeah.
So they're taking their aggression out on the queen bee for some reason. So that's probably our fault. So if I put this back together and stay out of there for a while, they'll probably settle down. So if they were going to kill this queen, they would have 3 days ago.
Right.
Right. So it's sometimes when
They
you
were
disturb a colony.
confused by us.
Yep, they're confused by the
So
beekeeper.
how did it? You said they take her legs off?
They will. They'll chew. Yeah, they'll grab her legs, usually a back leg, and they'll chew on her legs. And so they usually don't sting her outright and kill her, but when they ball them, that's what they'll do. So it's a curious thing, and I'm not sure if anybody understands exactly what that mechanism of balling the new queen is. I mean, if there was more than one queen in there, and they didn't want one or the other one, they could ball her and get rid of her. They'll do that to. They'll do that to other insects that might get in a hive. They'll ball them
All right, I'm going to get a fresh spoon of honey here
without bees.
without bees. Just straight from the hive right in the lavender field. Amazing.
You want me to hold the camera while you put it in your mouth?
Got to go under the veil. That's good.
Does it taste like lavender?
Yep.
Good answer.
Awesome. Thanks.